Hello, my friend. It's the Crypto Lunatic live from the Lunar Café, bringing you hidden gems before they pop and simplifying the language of crypto for newbies. Now, there's panic in the market. Should you be panicking? Is it time to run for the hills to get out before it goes down? There's absolute doom and gloom in the market today, my friends, because it has been hammered. It's been hammered. So today I'm going to take you on an exploration of why this has happened and what you can expect next. Because we're going to look historically at crypto. We're going to zoom out today and we're going to take a bigger picture look at what crypto is, what it does, and how it works. And emotions are high when the market goes down like this. So this is a chance for you to really ground yourself and to get a bigger perspective. I'm going to show you what happened in the last market and why this is something that we should be looking at from a broader perspective. Now, nothing that I say is financial advice. This is just my own opinion, and this is an educational resource. But with that in mind, my friends, I'm going to take you on a little journey to the last bull market and what actually happened. So before we do that, let's start here. This is CoinGlass. And what this tells us is the amount of liquidations that have happened in the last 24 hours. Now, what usually happens, everybody and their dog was saying, bull market, bull market, bull market, bull market. We're going to shoot for the moon. And what happens when that happens is loads of people get on with long leverage. Now, if you want to know that there's going to be a market retrace, one of the best indicators ever is to see how many longs and shorts there are. And there were a ton of longs. And look, this is the figure we're going to look at. Market makers will never let retail win. They always win. The house always wins with crypto. And when there's enough longs, you can be sure that there's going to be a massive pullback. And look, 848 million pounds has been lost, wrecked. It's been wrecked. And 713 million of that as people going long, and 135 million of that has been from people going short. So when too many people go short, you can be sure the market's going to rip up. And when too many people go long, you can be sure it's going to rip down. So Bitcoin and crypto is never going to go consistently up. It just doesn't happen that way. It's never happened that way. And it's unlikely that it will ever happen that way because this is the game that we're in. And for people that have that panic easily, you should never be in crypto in the first place. So this is liquidations and this is long and shorts, and this is what's going on at the moment. So, so my friends, we go back to here, and this is the ETF inflow. Now, this is the big money. This is the institutions. This is who's buying and selling, and this is who's causing the prices to go down generally. And you can see, look, there's been pullback day. Yesterday, there was 253 million taken out of Bitcoin and it took the price down. Now, look, let's just compare this in the bigger picture. So the day before that, there was almost the same put in. There was a couple of down days, which is why we've been down. But look, generally, the big boys are accumulating and they're accumulating a lot. So these indicators tell me that it's not time to panic just yet. So let's go back. I asked three AI engines to tell us which were the biggest gainers in the last bull market. So here's the question I put, which cryptos had the biggest percentage gains from their low to high price? Now, we do this on three AI engines because we cannot trust completely what they tell us. Now, look at this. This happened in the last bull market. According to Perplexity, 16,000% gain for Sandbox. If you got in at the bottom and you sold at the top, you had a 16,000% gain. Axie Infinity, 16,000% gain. Polygon, 14,000% gain. These are insane gains, and these are why people come into crypto because they're all looking for these. What are going to be the Sandbox, Axie Infinity, and Polygon of this cycle? That's the question everyone wants to know. And that is the game that we're in, my friends. But let's not take this. Let's go to Grok. I asked Grok the same thing. Now, look, one they critically missed off was Shiba Inu. And look at this, my friends. 15 million% gains. 15 million. Just think about that. This is why retail come into crypto. You only need one little degen that puts $100 in at a coin like this, and suddenly they've got 15 million. 15 million for every pound they put in. Now, this is why people play, and this is why memes cannot be ignored, because you're always going to have stuff like the Shiba Inus that people got in, they made loads of money. Now, we do see they still have the sandbox. There is some overlap. Interestingly enough, the sandbox is 10th here. And this one, it says 23,000% gain. So let's just compare that. So it's a lot more generous than Perplexity, because it still gives Sandbox an even higher figure than this, but there's stuff that they haven't got in. So let's get a third perspective, and let's go to ChatGPT. Now, again, Shiba Inu right at the top. We had Gala, Sandbox is there. So three of them that are there on these that are fairly unanimously agreed are Axie, Sandbox, and Shiba. So let's have a historical lesson in what happened. What happened back here? So let's go back in time to this point here. This is June 2021. Now, one day you're sitting there with Axie. In fact, let's go back even further. Let's go to January 2021. And you're sitting there with this little token, and it's worth 55 cents. And then one day you wake up and it's worth $8.60, which isn't that long. We're talking, this is April. So if we start in here, December 65, by April, you're on $8.59, looking at some serious gains. And then one day, people are saying, that's the end. This is the top of the bull market. And you hold on, you think, no, everyone's talking about the price going up. Suddenly people are leveraging long. They're seeing what Axie Infinities do. They're leveraging long. The market pulls back. And look, and then one day you've lost over 50% of where you were at, and people are getting remorse, and they're starting to get fatigue. And this is when you're getting all of this fear saying, that's it, it's all over. And then one day, look at this, look at the timeline. This is the 23rd of June. And here, by the 7th, by the 14th of July, you're on suddenly $20. You've gone from here from $4 to a 5x gain. And look at the timeline. The timeline here, $3 here, 23rd of June, to suddenly the 14th of July, $20. And then suddenly it goes down. And then it goes back up. So this is the leverage. This is flush out the leverage. Here, they flush out the leverage, and then they go up again. $47. They flush out the leverage. And then again, $71. So here you are now, sitting on the on August the 18th, and you are looking at $71. And you've gone from here, from $3 back in June, the end of June. And this is how quickly it happens. And then look, a massive pullback. Have we reached the top? This is the top. Suddenly the doom and gloom mongers come in, and look, a massive pullback. But it's only temporary, because the real action hasn't started then. $50. Then suddenly look at this. Look at this here. $128. And this is, look at the timeline. The 22nd of September, and here, the 6th of October, $128. And then before you know it, you're $150. You've gone from $3 here, the end of June, to $150 by mid-October. And that is how people make money, because they hold through the volatility. They don't lose the plot when it goes back over 50%, over 50% from this point. what people are calling doom and gloom, and that's Axie Infinity. Let's look at another one. Let's look at the sandbox. So here, so there you are in December. Let's say it's January. Let's go to 2021. So it's January, and you're looking at 3 cents. You're thinking, okay, great. And then one day you've gone up to 81 cents. And look, this has happened in by the time it reaches April. So in 3 months, pretty much 3 to 4 months, you've watched it go from 3 cents to 81. And some people are calling the top. And then look, doom and gloom. You've gone down to 18 cents. You've suddenly gone from 81 to 18. Now look at this drawback. Just look at the percentage. The percentage drawback. This looks like doom and gloom. It looks like you've missed the boat. It looks like you're the bottom and your world has caved in. But the people that held on and stayed steady to here, to October, they're sitting on 74 and they're thinking, I wonder what's happening next. And then look, from the 16th of October to here, to the 27th of November, you have gone from 74 cents to here, to almost $7. That's a 10x gain in a couple of weeks. And this is the game we're in, my friends. So if you're not comfortable from going from 81 to 24, and think about that, you have just watched profits absolutely annihilated off your coins. And this is why trading, unless you're really good at trading, is not a good game. Buy and hold is the best strategy for most people in crypto. And if you just kept your head to here, now you might have thought there, well, it's going up. We're on a massive momentum. We'll just hold. So knowing when to sell is just as big a part of the game. And anyone that sold within this region did really, really well. But the trouble is, it's balancing, keeping your head with being too greedy. And this is the game. Now, finally, let's look at the big daddy player. So this is Shiba Inu. And this is why meme coins, my friend, people buy into. That 0 and small 9 means 9 zeros. 9 zeros there, sitting there with the 9 zeros. And look, it's a junk coin, 9 zeros. Oh, it's gone to 7 zeros. So here to here. So one day, on the 24th of January, 2021, you're sitting on 9 zeros and 16. And then look, when you get to here, the 31st of January, suddenly there's 2 less zeros. Now put that in perspective. That is a 100x gain in that, just that little leap there. But then people that held on, 7 zeros there, watch, back to 4 zeros, back down, massive miss out. Now you do it 5 zeros, big retrace. But look at this. Look at this for those degens that held. So here, look at the timeline. 26th of September, bang. 31st of October. Look at that change. 4 zeros and a 6 from 5 zeros and a 7. That's a 10x, almost. It's almost a 10x in 26th to the 10th in about 2 weeks. And this is what crypto can do. Now, I'm not saying that this cycle it's exactly going to happen that way, but I wanted to give you some historical perspective of who wins in crypto. And they're not just lucky. You need nerves of steel to make it in crypto. And if you're looking to trade, if you're looking to get in and out quickly, if you're looking for gains on a daily basis, if you're counting your profit and loss, then you could be looking and see your bag has gone down 75%. Look, the people that made the real money, their bags were down 75%. The only difference between the people that made money and those that held it were those that held their nerve and those that stayed in long enough. But more important, as important as holding your nerve and staying in long enough, is not getting too greedy, which is why having targets is a good move. So when that went up 10,000%, if you took profits at 1,000%, would you be kicking yourself? Well, that's why having targets, having clear guidelines in your head is a good move, and setting sell-offs or at least taking profit. Now, taking profit models, we can talk about that all day. But the point being, balancing nerves of steel and not being too greedy is the game of crypto. And the winners are the ones that keep their nerve, but know when to get out. They don't get too moony. They don't get too moonshotty. But then, of course, you could say that. Look at Shiba Inu. It made millionaires out of degens. Couple of just a pound, 16, 15 million% gain. A single pound or a single dollar, 15 million. And that is the game, my friends. That is the game. So when you're looking at this retrace, take a balanced perspective, look at the broader term view, and hold your nerve. This is like for all of you war fans, so you're seeing that the enemy is charging. Hold. 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 This is a Lord of the Rings moment. Hold. Hold that shield wall, my friends. No, I could be wrong. We could be going into a flash crash. It might not reverse. I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not a mystic. But what I can do is look at data. I can look at history. And if we don't learn from history, for all of you history buffs out there, then we're never going to learn anything. And history rarely changes. The patterns seem to emerge. Patterns seem to emerge. And this looks to me like a flush out. Could it go down further? Yes, absolutely. Yes, it could. Is it likely to go up again? I think it will, folks. I think it will. But who am I? I'm just a lunatic sitting here on a Lunar Cafe. And let me know, don't just tell me what you think of my opinion. Let me know yours. Are we about to shoot up? Is this the final drag back or is this the road to hell, my friends? Well, let me know. Leave your comments. And if you've enjoyed this content, then please do subscribe to the channel, especially if you're still watching now, because statistically, not many people will be. So if you've enjoyed it to this point, you probably like more of it. Speaking of which, there's another video just there. And either way, stay lunatic, have fun, and make money with crypto.